Good morning and thanks for waking up with 2. Happy Friday. I'm Travis Guillory. Breaking news here on 2 Works for You at 10. 3 homicides in one day in Tulsa County. Let's send it over to 2 Works for You's Chris DeMaria, who's been talking with first responders. And Chris, what can you tell us? Believe it or not, this pile of rubble used to be a church, a place of worship. Leaders in one Oklahoma county are investigating a case of active tuberculosis found in a high school student. Taking a look at that backup right now. Looks like it's extending all the way pretty much past Peoria, and that yellow is even getting further and further. Let's take a live look right now at that accident over on I-44. You can see right here the truck rolled over there. Luckily, the rain has stopped right here where this accident is, so hopefully they can kind of get this worked out. But expect a lot of backup right there, I-44 westbound. She kind of walked out, smiling, acting like everything was fine, like she didn't quite understand what was going on or the gravity of what she just confessed to doing. Actually, the sheriff just took off in a bulletproof vest, and he said, fingers crossed, they're on their way right now to a location. But we're going on 12 hours now that 19-year-old Cayman Coleman has been missing from this facility. Now, he is considered dangerous. I know you're waking up saying, Mom, do I have to go? The answer is yes. Luckily, though, once you get in the car, you'll have a pretty easy drive to head back to school or if you're heading to work this morning. Well, Brian, that's the big question tonight. Was this just someone carelessly throwing out evidence, or was someone in the Glenpool Police Department purposely trying to get rid and dispose of criminal evidence? 2 Works for You uncovered everything from pictures of victims' bodies to full-page police records to cassette tapes to drug paraphernalia. From what we could tell, most of the evidence was from 2003 to 2005, tossed out back like yesterday's newspaper. We tried to speak with the Glenpool police chief. We were just told about some contents of the dumpster out back containing some exposed, discarded evidence. And so that's why we would want the chief just to validate that, let us know if there's any truth to that, just to give us that information. At first, we were told he'd be right with us, then told he was not available. So would it be safe to say that he has no comment on this? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you. So we called the Tulsa County District Attorney's office and alerted them to what was going on. Less than an hour later, 3 unmarked vehicles arrived and began removing things from the dumpster, combing through the contents and laying it all out on the ground before taking it all away. The DA says he spoke with the chief, who said the evidence will be looked into. The chief could request the DA's office to further investigate. Officials with the Council on Law Enforcement Education and Training and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation say that tossing evidence in full into a dumpster is not something that's taught and is not a practice of law enforcement agencies. Now, after they were finished with the dumpster behind me, it appeared that they brought all of the evidence back into the police station. It's unclear at this point if there will be an external investigation into this matter. Live in Glenpool, Travis Guillory, 2 Works for You.
To lose him over something so incredibly bizarre and insane, because it was, is so inexcusable.
Julie Bailey was on her front porch about to take her 2 dogs on a walk Friday afternoon when a city worker came to check the water meter.
They were still on the leash was going down the yard. I immediately got up to chase after the leashes so I could step on them, but they were faster than I was.
The dogs ran up to the city worker, and that's when Bailey says he struck her 5-pound dog, Thumper, with a metal rod.
I could see Thumper down right by the manhole cover. Thumper was down, and the man picked it up and went like that, and he went like that on top of Thumper twice after Thumper was not moving.
But the worker set to call his supervisor and left. Bailey left holding her lifeless dog, who was seizing and bleeding.
I said, don't. I said, stop doing that, and he just didn't stop.
The vet said the damage to Thumper's skull was beyond repair, and Bailey and her husband, Scott, lost their 6-year-old baby.
Thumper would jump up in my lap and watch ball games with me, and he would always jump up on me when I come in the door,
The city worker involved in the incident was dismissed from his duties with the city of Tulsa, and police have launched an investigation.
We are not determining whether someone is guilty. We are putting together the best information in the case we can to present to the DA.
If the city worker is found guilty of animal abuse, a felony, he faces up to 5 years in prison. But no matter how the investigation ends, Bailey says she will never unsee what was done to her dog.
I haven't come out of my front door. My bedroom window looks over the spot where Thumper basically was murdered, and I can't look out there.
The couple's hope now, that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
No creature on the face of the earth should have to go through what he went through. Okay, and my wife shouldn't have had to see something like that.
Since the incident, the family has received an outpouring of support, including from the mayor of Tulsa, who sent his condolences to the couple. The mayor also says that water meter readers are required to attend trainings that deal with dog awareness, including the use of mace in situations like this one. An investigation is ongoing. In Tulsa, Travis Guillory, 2 Works for You. What does the N-word mean? What does that word translate to you?
It's an offensive word that shouldn't be said at all.
I see the N-word, being used as a greeting, as like a way that you talk to your friends within like the Black community.
When other Black people say it to me and I know they don't mean it in a negative connotation, I'm not as offended.
When I hear it from a white person, I hear racism. I hear the whole history of how that word was used.
If you're watching TV and you're watching some rally where the word is being hatefully thrown out, and then you walk outside and you hear somebody casually say it on the street, it's the same word, but does it have a different meaning?
For me, it has everything to do with intent. Like, growing up within my family, there are people on one side who are extremely racist and use it in a derogatory way. But in my immediate family, it wasn't used that way. We didn't see each other as white people or Black people. It was just a greeting.
At the end of the day, it's still the same word with the same history and the same meaning.
Regardless of who says it, it still has that history attached to it, that harmful hurt attached to it, and I think it depends on generations.
So do you feel like there's a difference among the generations about how the word now has kind of gotten watered down and it's not as big of a deal to younger people as it maybe is for some people's grandparents or great-grandparents?
Black people my age, they get to like live in the comfort of the sacrifices that people before them made, and they've gotten so comfortable, they're like, oh, well, maybe I should let you use this word because, we're all friends and racism's dead, but it's not, it's just more covert.
Someone in an older generation were to hear that, the things they associate with that word are not rap music and a comedy special. It goes a whole lot deeper than that.
With the older generation, it was never used as a term of endearment. It was only seen as derogatory. And, I can see why they would be extremely offended hearing it or hearing the generation of today say it in such a loose kind of way.
I grew up in North Tulsa and I went to predominantly Black schools. For the 5 Caucasian kids or the 15 Mexican kids, it wouldn't really seem so derogatory because these people also grow up in those same situations. So it's kind of normalized throughout their lives as well.
We took a word that was meant to be hateful and hurtful to us. We took that word, we took the power back from that word. So a part of me understands that as well, but then how do you take power back from something that you never owned?
Since it was used as a weapon against us, for our community to try to take that weapon, put it on safety, oh, I'm not really hurting anybody. I mean, it's still a weapon in my opinion, as much as we tried to redefine it, water it down, break it down, remove the gunpowder, it's still a weapon.